So one of my students approached me recently and he seemed a little bit discouraged. He ended up telling me that he doesn't know if he's improving in the way that he wants to. He doesn't know if he's heading in the right direction. And I can identify with this. I understand the feelings because I have felt the same way. And just about everybody who does some kind of combat sport will end up feeling the same way at some point to some degree. And it will happen more than once. It'll happen multiple times throughout their career or their experience. Now, self-doubt is not a good thing. You don't want to doubt yourself or run around getting down on yourself every time you don't get something. However, skepticism can be and is a very good thing. So it's not even necessarily bad for you to feel this way every now and again, so long as you have the tools to be able to turn it around and make it into something that's going to be useful to you. You need to ask yourself questions every now and again, like if the environment is working for you, if you're working as hard as you need to or should, and if there's anything that you should stop doing or start doing that's going to get you to your goal in a much more efficient or quick manner. A lot of people never do anything like this, whether it's for martial arts or if it's just in general, in everyday life. And because of this, they always end up in bad spots. They're always digging themselves out of a hole, and they have no idea why. It's a big Scooby-Doo mystery to them. And sometimes it's because they just don't know what questions to ask, or maybe they just don't know to ask questions in the most general sense. But either way, the lack of doing this is one of the main contributing factors as to why they are not where they want to be. One thing you're going to want to look out for in terms of martial arts is whether or not your instructor is okay with you trying to figure this out, trying to ask questions like that. And if they're not, then you're going to want to get out of there. And I've noticed that a lot of like karate guys and kung fu guys and things like that, they end up coming back at you with some kind of like weird Eastern philosophy type thing whenever you try and talk to them about this. They'll sit there and they'll be like, I'm your Sifu, young man. You need to respect your elders. You don't think I know what I'm doing? Oh. And it's just ridiculous. And if you happen to be at a karate or kung fu school or any kind of school for that matter, and you get that reaction when you start asking questions to figure out if it's the right spot for you, then you need to get out of there. Because they're not actually worried about you. They just want your money. They're taking your money and they don't care if you get better. Now, I tried to help out my student as best I could, and one of the things that I told him is that martial arts is weird, because it's a game of big improvements followed by small adjustments. And what I mean by this is that you're going to be learning things that are counterintuitive. They're not instinctual. Punching, for instance. Now, from what I understand, humans have actually evolved to be able to punch. This is something I heard about a while ago, and I've heard other people say this too. But if you stop the average person on the street and ask them to show you what a punch looks like, you're going to get them holding their hands down here, they're going to reach back, and then they're going to throw a wide, looping haymaker. That's what a punch is to people on an instinctual level. And that's not what a punch is in, say, boxing. A boxing punch is going to be hands up, you're going to extend out, and then you're going to return back to the hands up position. That's not something that people will do if you just throw them into an environment where they have to throw a punch. They're going to have to learn that. And that is a big thing to learn. You have to override what you will instinctually do and then replace whatever it was that you would have done with the proper way of doing it. And when you're able to do this, when you finally master that, it's going to be a big improvement. And you're going to feel that improvement. And you're going to feel really, really good because of it. But then, what ends up happening when you go to try and use it on somebody? You've been hitting the bag, you've been hitting the pads, you've been shadowboxing, and you've been doing it really well. But when you go to use it on somebody, it's not as easy as it was when you were hitting the bag, because that person doesn't want to get hit. So now what you have to learn is how to hit somebody. And that is a game of very, very small adjustments. They're small adjustments, but they're not minor. And they seem like they'd be easy. They seem like they'd be really, really simple, but they're not. because you have to do it under pressure. You have to do it while he is not letting you do it, while he is trying to hit you. And because you can't move 2 inches to the left or 2 inches to the right, because you can't throw a half a second sooner or a half a second later without him trying to move and hit you, it can be very, very disheartening. And not only does it suck, but there's really only one way to try and get around the obstacle, and that is to do it until you get good at it. If you need to be 2 inches to the left in order to hit that dude when you're sparring, you have to be 2 inches to the left. There's nothing you can do about it. And you're going to have to get hit, or you're going to have to deal with not being able to hit him until you get good enough at being 2 inches to the left to be able to actually hit him with it. And it's unfortunate that there's no surrogates or there's no supplementary exercises that you can do that are really going to be able to help you get it. But that's just how it is. What are you going to do? Something that was told to me by multiple black belts ever since I started jiu-jitsu is that you're going to get as good as you want to get as quickly as you want to. And it makes sense, because at the end of the day, if you're going to class 5-6 days a week and you're smashing everybody at all the tournaments you go to, you're going to get your black belt a lot sooner than if you only went to class once or twice a week and you never ever competed. And it's not just about the effort and the energy that you're putting in. It's also about the lumps that you're taking along the way and how you're coping with them. And if you embrace that, if you embrace the process of getting beaten up on a little bit in order to try and do the move that you want to do, you're going to get a lot better a lot quicker. And really, it all comes down to what your mindset is and how you feel about it. And if you get discouraged, if you think, oh man, I'm not going to be able to do it, I can't do it, oh, this guy is too good, he's a brown belt and I'm only a blue belt, it's never going to work out. You need to break through that wall that you're creating for yourself in order to just basically be okay with getting beaten up on, if it means that you also get to try that new move that you've been trying to hit for the last however many weeks. And the same thing goes for striking. Now, I don't like fighting cliches, okay? I don't like when people say things like, he's a southpaw, he's got a lot of heart. It sounds cringe to me, okay? He's a lefty who's really tough. That's what it is, all right? But if there's one cliche that is true, it's that fighting is mostly a mental game. It is 100% true. Your attitude is going to help determine the outcome. If you go in with a bad attitude, nothing good is going to come out of it. If you go in with a good attitude, then something good is far more likely to come out of it. And in this case, what qualifies for a good attitude is essentially going in there and thinking to yourself, I'm probably going to get beat up. I'm probably going to get hit. I'm probably going to get submitted. But I don't care about that. I'm going to try my best to do what I want to be able to do. And if you go in there with that attitude enough times, it's going to work out eventually. It will. But you have to keep it up day after day after day. And who knows, maybe you'll go in there and you'll get that move down in a day. But if not, you got to keep that attitude up for as long as it takes you. And even after you get it, you have to keep that attitude, because there's going to be new things that you want to learn. And you also need the confidence to try that move that you finally just got down in different situations and things like that. So that's all I have for you today. I hope it helped somebody out there. This wasn't really a response to a question or anything like that. You know, I helped my student out, and I just kind of thought about it afterwards, and I thought, you know what, I could probably say this to a much wider audience. This is probably something that's good to put out there. If you liked it, feel free to subscribe. I will be doing more videos. Feel free to comment your thoughts in the comment section where they belong. If you have any suggestions for videos, you can put them there as well, or you can hit me up on Instagram at Scott Sullivan MMA. And yeah, thank you. Good luck out there.